Today is Presbyterians Sharing Sunday. Presbyterians Sharing is the umbrella title we give to the mission that we do in cooperation with all of the other churches in the Presbyterian Church in Canada. It's that portion of your envelope, Presbyterians Sharing, which gives us the opportunity to say we can do it. The Presbyterian Sharing budget for this year is around $9 million. It's a huge amount, and in a nation and a world that is in recession, it might seem like an impossible amount. Our share here at St. Andrew's of that overall amount is $90,000. That's a lot of money, and in light of all the things that we're trying to do right here, I know that at times we say, we can't do that mission. It's too much for us. And there's times when even I want to say, look, let's forget about that and focus on ourselves. But that would be the gravest sin of all. Because I have confidence that if I say to you, this is what we want to do, and it really is great, and I want you all to pitch in and help, I know that just like in the deserts, by Sinai and by the shore of Galilee, you are going to come forward and say, we are dedicated, we are committed, we want to do this, we will give of ourselves, we will give of our substance, we will meet the challenge. We will fulfill our mission, and we are confident that nothing could ever stop us. Through the year, you see little bulletin inserts about what we're doing through Presbyterians Sharing, and in your bulletin today is a little booklet, an annual report overview, and it tells some of the wonderful stories of mission. And I hope that every one of you will look at those stories and say, these stories are an integral part of my life. I cannot live from one day to the next unless I know that part of the substance of my being and part of the wealth that I earn is going to be used to change lives in developing countries. It is integral to my existence to know I am part of that great network of love and mission and healing and restoration. There are hundreds of stories of individual lives changed for the better. Just a couple of little stories. I love to hear the story of Wilfred Watishan, who is still working in Guilford, Mississippi, cleaning up after Hurricane Katrina. One of our missionaries working under the auspices of the Presbyterian Church of the USA, doing incredible work there. Or David Villalonga in Nicaragua. Do you know what he is? He's a veterinarian. And you say, well, what kind of a missionary is a veterinarian? Why are we sending out a veterinarian? And of course the answer is simple. That in Canada we have developed such incredible techniques in animal husbandry that we know how to make livestock stronger and healthier and live longer and produce more and give more milk to more hungry people. And the difference that David Villalonga is making in Nicaragua is absolutely amazing. The sharing of our knowledge and our wisdom. Or Denise Van Wissen in Guatemala, or Linda Shaw working in education in Guyana, or Glenn and Linda Inglis, who have spent their whole ministry on and off doing every sort of beautiful work in Malawi, or Arlene Randall, who has been in Nigeria for her whole life, except for 5 years, since 1978, or David Pandijakaresh in the Ukraine, where last year inflation was 24%, and tens of thousands of people were forced into poverty and hunger. And the list goes on, and we are there, and it appears to be impossible work. But I know it's not. God says to me, tell the people what the church is doing. Invite the people to come forward and help. And then wait and watch how God's people respond with overwhelming love and wonderful generosity. And I believe that. I believe the Spirit of God is in you. And I believe the underlying principle that every one of you has a deep and powerful desire to help people in need. And that in spite of the fact that sometimes people say that our society is self-centered or people today are greedy and thoughtless, I do not believe it. I believe that God's Spirit is in every one of you, and your desire to help is powerful and cannot be denied. So I want you to be generous with Presbyterians sharing. And I know you will. I want to briefly address the mission that we have right here in St. Andrews. And I want to say to you, this is what we are doing. Will you come forward and help? We have challenges here. We've come through a time of great disruption and hurt. We are living through a time of tremendous recession. Although I'm pretty sure the recession is over now. Do you know how I know? Because my financial advisor finally came out of hiding. Things are looking better. This year, even though we've been in the midst of the worst recession in 80 years, the overall offerings of St. Andrews have increased by 5.7%. Now that's a little bit more than what is a realistic estimation. Part of that came from a significant donation into the TV ministry. Overall, we're up by about 2.2%. That's good in a time of recession. However, it's not enough. We are still in a deficit position. And I, as your minister, look at the fact that we're in a deficit position, and I have to say to myself, what am I going to do? What am I going to say to the people? And there's two ways that we can go here. We're at a fork in the road, and there's two ways. The one is to say, look, it's too much for you. I know you can't do it. I know that you really don't want to do it. So let's just cut back on our programs, and we will save that money. And that's how we will balance our books. But I have to tell you something. It's not in me to do that. I do not know what it is. Cut back on ministry. I do not understand the concept of cutting back on mission. I do not comprehend the notion of withholding Christian education. And so I have suggested a different direction for us, and it doesn't involve cutting anything. And I think the session is on board. Or else they say they are, just so I'll stop whining at them. The way to go is more mission. Because we firmly believe that the whole world is standing around out there saying, I want someone to give me a mission. I want someone to give me a purpose that is eternal. I want someone to facilitate my personal inward desire to help people in need. So we're going to do more mission. And we're going to provide the best quality worship that we possibly can. We're going to provide you with music that will lift up your soul and fill you with joy. And we're going to do Christian education so that new generations of little children and teenagers will hear the gospel that has changed your life and will be led into relationship with that God who has touched and carried you throughout your whole life, because we cannot withhold it. We don't know how.